Hello everyone, and in today's video I'm going to go through a code overview quickly for a sample code where we use Riverpod to fetch data from a JSON placeholder, basically to inquire data, fetch data from a JSON-based API and display into your Flutter app. So when you first open the code base, usually let's go to this pubspec.yam, where this is listed all the configuration and Flutter version, environment, and the dependencies, as you can see. And here we need to use a Riverpod and do similar like HTTPs, and we use the freeze annotation to generate data class and JSON annotation to pass JSON, and we also use Riverpod annotation to this is new in Riverpod 2.0 where we generate provider instead of manually write. So all these are very essential package, like very basic for every app. Here we have Flutter link, which is default, but we also have build runner, JSON serializable freezed, generator, custom lint. Remember, after you add this custom lint, and there should be I thought there's a Riverpod lint, not this one, maybe in the other one. We don't have the font. Then you need to add in here. In analysis optional, we need to add this line of code. The other one is default. And here, this is the all the GET request. You can open these and to see the JSON code. I'll move mine to here. So this is a list of data to get user ID, title, and body. Is very typical JSON. And this is send request, also post. Is there a GET request? These this is the put it to update. Let's see the code first. So we go to main.com, which is the entry code with everything run in the main function, and all Riverpod need to have this provider scope, and you can see the widget that stores the state of providers. All Flutter application using Riverpod must contain a provider scope at the root of the widget tree. And the material app, theme, and here we have our list screen. Before we go to the screen UI, let's see in the lab. So the default is main and source folder. We have API, and data, and domain and presentation. This is like because this is a sample code, a very simple feature. So we basically only have one feature, to screen. So we put everything in one folder. If we have multi-screen and different feature, we will need to, each feature will have its own folder for API data domain. For this one, let's first see this API. It will tell us how we get the data class. Here is we get deal provider in a function. No, declaration. This is, we didn't use the code generation to get the instance of the deal. And let me see here. That's the red one, the generated one. So here we use freed to code for API error extension. Here we can show the message on different gates to show what message. And here on data, this is our post repository. So the API is more like a service class declaration. That's all it does, and catch error for catch the internet fetch data error. And the data is the repository where how we fetch the data. So we have the fetch post. The run function is a private function where we do here. It takes a request and the pass. So request is the function. Whatever request function we get, we will receive a response. And based on the response data's code, and we will show data or not found or default through an error. Remember this API.error.not found, we have extension to display there. And here we use try and catch to catch the data of no internet connection. And this level we declare the repository provider, which takes this repository takes a deal as a dependency. How do you get the deal? This is one provider depend on the other. This is the deal provider. How do we get the deal provider? Remember, when you click, it's here, this level. And again, on the post repository, we have different function. One list with fetch post, where we return a future list of posts. With the ref, the new Riverpod removed this part. The newly updated Riverpod 2.2, 2.6 only gets a ref. We create it's just syntax, but basically this is to generate a future provider, async provider. Here we have a token ref on this post, so we use this post to cancel the token. And here we watch the repository post repository provider dot fetch post. Fetch posts means a list of posts, and the function is here. So you can see the class itself contains the function, right? So the class until here. So we have fetch post, then returns a list of posts. Here's the URL, and you can see it's a deal.get method. You can see this is the data we see, right? This is the JSON, and we will return a list of posts. And here we pass when we have the data, and we say post.map for each post.from JSON. We will go to the post class, which is domain, very soon. We can open this for now. It's basically using the freezed package. All we need to do is to declare which property this class will have, and it will automatically generate the post data class for us, and we write down the from JSON function. So when we get, this is like a blueprint to declare the class, and then from JSON is to get the data into the class, so then we can display on the app with the real data. Here is to fetch one post. This is to fetch all the posts. Here is to, based on the post ID, we fetch for one post. Usually when on the app we display a list of posts, and when you tap on one of the posts, and it navigate you to a new screen where it will fetch new posts, fetch the separate post to display all the detailed information in detail screen. And here you can update the post also with the post ID. And the run function is the function where you can reuse to catch all the data, so you don't have to write all the code for catch error for every function, right? So this is a do.put get, and so after this repository, you write this to get the repository provider, and here is the function to fetch post, where you get this this can replace the future builder, so it will return the async value. We will see how to use this in the screen, but basically the key here is to watch list provider. List section is basically to an instance of list class. How do we get list? This is from this code. This code will generate a provider called post repository provider. If you call this X repository, this will be X repository provider. So this is basically to get the instance of this class and call fetch posts. If you click fetch post function, call this one. And return a list of posts, and same here to return just one post. But this one we add more function to keep alive, means by default all the provider will auto dispose, and means once you leave the details screen, the provider will be disposed. So when you come back, we will call this function again, but sometimes we want to keep it. We don't want to keep calling again. So you can customize the time, let's say in 5 seconds, and uncancel. After 5 seconds, you close on review. So it should be very straightforward. And then you go to the presentation screen with this is the home screen, where you have a bar. Why don't we run the app? I should have get it running. Let's see. Let's click web and debug. Run. While it's running, we can continue check the code. So on this screen, so here we extend consumer widget, and you have ref here, just like how you get contact, and then ref.watch for fetch post provider. Do you still remember how we get this? This is a generated provider that's from repository. From here, fetch post. This code will generate a fetch post provider. Looks like the code is running, which is great. How do I make it this small? We don't need this. I want to make this screen, yeah, like this. So I will put this here so you can see. It's just simple JSON data, but this is how the app. It can be, if you connect with the real API, it can be any information like your to-do list, the weathers, whatever data you get. Post, right? When you click, you go to the details. You see a loading, and then show the detail. Now I click again. You don't see the loading again because we keep it alive for 5 minutes, 5 seconds. Remember? See, after 5 seconds, it will be disposed to fetch again. Now, if I type the number 10, you see loading and show the data again. And here's edit. We can edit. Not sure about this UI yet. See, I can post. Add a hello world. Submit. This will call the put function to update JSON data. And now I done that. Why it's not updated? Okay, let's try again. Maybe that's the thing we need to figure out from the code. Let's see the bug. But this is an example to show update. It didn't show anything. Just go back and let's see why. And if we refresh, we should be able to see again of all the post data. It's very simple screen. Where is it? So this shows here, which basically say post async.when. When we have data, we post. We use this list view separate to generate a list, scrollable list with the list tail, and this is all the UI. This is all the data. You see, ID, post ID, right, and the post title. And on tap, what do? You go to a detail screen, which will need a post ID. And error, we get error or loading sign. And now let's go to the post detail screen, which is here. In this way, we will watch to this fetch post provider. Basically, is to this is generated code. This provider comes from post repository from this function here. Here has all the code. You see, we get the repository provider and call the fetch post function, and we will get the async data, which will be enable us to write .when with data. Loading error. Let's see, here is added. So the added details, this one will push the added details screen. It's a new screen here. And this one also takes the post ID, and we fetch post provider. This means here is this is the existing data, so we fetch again, right? For this individual post, but we instead of list, instead of like a column as we had earlier, this one is a form. We get the form, so then we can add. You can tap. If on mobile screen, the keyboard will pop up. So here we have title controller, body controller, and initialize title dot body. Remember to dispose. This is here we have state to work added post detail control provider. We didn't go to the controller yet, did we? Our controller is here. So my picture is gone. It's okay. So the controller class is to control the screen. It contains all the business logic for the UI screen. This way we can better separate the UI with business logic, make our code easier to maintain. And here you can see we declared Riverpod providers for this controller, and inside the controller we have a build method. We just say onDispose to make the mounted as false, and we have a function. This is class-based future, a class-based provider, Riverpod provider. It's basically to return future value, so it will generate this async notifier that we can use to mute data, to change the data that you request from API. Here to update the post with a previous title if it's the same on success. Return. Here is the state. We first loading, and then we use copy with method to get an updated code, and then the post repository we will have. So let's figure out why the post, the edit does not work. The reason is, so first when you go to the detailed screen, you go back. So there's 3 pages, right? First one, and you see we load the data on this detailed screen. When you untap the button from post for each, in the list tail for each, you untap. What do? You navigate to detail screen, which is this one, and this one take an ID. And when you are in the detailed screen, we fetch the data again, and this post async value then contains all the data in the post. And here, when you click the edit button, it navigates to a new screen. And in this screen, we can edit. But here on this screen, first, you see we get all the data again. That's because we are working here. We use a consumer instead of consumer widget. You can do both. That's two different ways to access the ref property here. So, but it's the same. This line of code is same as this line of code. Post async. It both has the async value and get all the data here. So you have post detailed form. The main content is the detailed form. You even get the ID from here for on the title, which is nice. Then when we get the data, we say render this form, and both are a text field. You can see a text field. Each text field contain a controller, from title controller to control what you type, right? And then body controller, you can in the end you can type something here, and on the submit button, what do we do? When you submit, you call this controller provider dot notifier, because this is the notifier, async notifier dot update post. We will go back to see the controller code very soon. This one will take a previous post, title, and body. So the title content become title dot controller, whatever you typed, to update the. And on success, what do we do? On success, we will pop up. And let's see. Where is it? So here we get the post dot title, a body from whatever we had fetched before, and in the init state, and then you did both. That's clear. But the data dot text, this is the one we text. If you print this one, this body controller will be all the x passed by body dot. So here is the update function. So this one, you have a previous post with title, body, on success. Previous post dot title. We see if the title is the same, body is the same, basically we didn't change anything, then when you submit, we call on success, and in our case, on success is to pop the screen. But if it's different, what do? We first we say async the loading. We load the state. We change the state as loading first, and then we call this update function. We will do previous post copy with. We try to change the post to update, and then here we get the provider of the repository. This provider repository, we call update post. See, update post will take a post repository, and we know what is this function here. Is basically here. It will take a post dot to JSON to pass the from Dart data class to a JSON object, and pass into the function. You see this data here is dynamic. It takes the JSON data, and this is optional. But in this specific placeholder, because it does not have real backend API, so we cannot really update. That's why when you call this function, you see where it's used. Can you see? When you call this function, you update the state, and it says if it's async data, means unsuccess invalidate the future provider, then fetches the post data. We invalidate its fetch post provider. And if mounted, we say only set the state if the controller hasn't been disposed. The controller means the text field controller means it disposed when we pop this page bin. So if mounted, then means everything is still here, then we update to the new state. And if the error is false, we don't have error on updating, we success means. So now if you click this, it will call the pop. That's why we don't see the changed data. We only see temporarily, like whatever we see here, right? I wonder if we don't call the unsuccess save. And refresh, it will go back to the because we don't have deep linking. So let's say post 2, we open it. Now I change to hello, and as we submit, see, it will stay in the page to show hello instead. But as soon as we go back, and that means we popped this screen, and we come back to the post details screen, and here we are fetching the state for this page. We didn't actually update the data, but if we have real API, it will be updated, and it will update into the list of data as well. So that's all for today, and we can review the controller again. Controller is to hold the business logic of how we want to update UI like this, right? And we can declare the controller with Riverpod syntax like this one. Okay, great, thank you, bye bye.